The Kojai family decorates their home with American flags, flowers, and a religious statue. But the newest lawn ornament, just off their property, it's not one they chose.
We're obviously believers in God. It's like advertising a satanic church in front of our home. Yeah. We raised our sons here.
Jill Kojai says the first few feet of the lawn belong to the state. An INDOT spokesperson says the sign will stay as long as the Satanic Temple agrees to keep cleaning up.
Man, is this going to affect our property values?
Mary Rossworm lives across the street.
There could maybe only be one other sign that's worse than that to have up from your house, which would be the KKK.
We're not out there sacrificing babies.
Satanic Temple chapter head Damian Blackmore says the group is atheistic and they do not worship Satan. The group's website says, quote, "To embrace the name Satan is to embrace rational inquiry, removed from supernaturalism and archaic, tradition-based superstitions."
Very much wanting to, pursue knowledge and free will, act with compassion and empathy towards all creatures within reason.
Blackmore says they'd clean the highway even without the sign. They applied to adopt the highway earlier this year. An INDOT spokesperson says INDOT respects freedom of speech and there are no restrictions on what types of groups can adopt.
I'm spiritual, not religious.
Fritz Colmerton lives next to the Kojais.
If they want to clean the highway, they're more than welcome to, and it doesn't matter to me who's doing it one way or the other.
And back here at home tonight, an Adopt a Highway sign is now raising some eyebrows. Take a look at this. The Satanic Temple of Indiana is adopting a portion of US 421 right near US 32 in Zionsville. Members will now be cleaning up the 2-mile stretch 4 times a year as part of the Crossroads of America program. On the group's website, a chapter leader says, quote, "The cleaning initiative is a great way to get our chapter members involved while giving back to the state."
Aaron, you can imagine the reaction folks have when they learned a satanic group has adopted Seabright State Beach and are now charged with cleanup efforts there.
Is this a joke?
I'm not, no.
Really? I mean, if they want to clean the beach, I'm all for clean beaches, so.
It wouldn't bug me as much as somebody that's, more of an organization that's hurting other people or something like that.
I think it doesn't exist. You're making it up.
We're not making it up. The marine conservation nonprofit Save Our Shores has set aside Seabright State Beach for the Satanic Temple Santa Cruz religious organization to oversee.
They were enthusiastic and supportive. I sent in the application. It said the Satanic Temple Santa Cruz in the header, and she got back to me the same day.
If you're worried about animal sacrifices or satanic rituals on the beach, church members say you have nothing to fear. Keeping the beach clean, their love for animals, and pride in the community is their motivation.
There are a lot of misconceptions about Satanism. One of our core tenets and beliefs is that one should strive to act with compassion and empathy for all creatures in accordance with reason.
I mean, people hear the word Satan and they think, pitchforks and, sacrifices and stuff. And we're a bunch of people that work side by side with the rest of the community, and we care about the community.
The plan is to clean up Seabright Beach after the 4th of July celebration, when trash and other debris is left to overflow onto the beach and into the water. At this time, they are undecided if they want others to join them.
We kind of just want our members to do it this first round to kind of see what's going to happen. We don't know how we're going to be received.
And we'll also be doing September 15th, which is International Coastal Cleanup Day. It's the largest volunteer event in the world for the environment.
The group is only obligated to do 3 cleanups a year, but plan to hold more. Save Our Shores declined to comment for this story. Aaron?
All right, Phil, thank you. So on July 5th, they plan to be out at Seabright State Beach picking up trash and other debris, just like all of the other volunteers will be doing that day.
Netflix's new The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina has been sued by the actual Satanic Temple for copyright infringement and for making Satanists look bad. Hi, welcome to America Uncovered. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. We're living in a special time in this country where this is a headline in a major news outlet. Satanists settle lawsuit with Netflix over goat-headed statue. Yes, I know it's CNN, but believe me, that's not fake news. In case you didn't know, there's an actual satanic temple in the United States. Not to be confused with the Church of Satan, that's a separate group, but both are officially recognized atheist religious organizations. I mean, sure, Satan exists because God cast one of his angels out of heaven, but you can still believe in Satan while being atheist, right? Anyway, the Satanic Temple has made a name for itself over the years thanks to high-profile publicity stunts. I mean, actions that are only about religious freedom. This is from 2014.
A battle is underway in Oklahoma State Capitol over a proposed monument by a satanic temple. The structure is of a goat figure with children at its feet. The temple is hoping to put it next to an already existing statue of the Ten Commandments.
The Satanic Temple started an Indiegogo campaign to build that statue. They were asking for $20,000. They raised $28,000. Their argument was, if there's a Ten Commandments statue, why not a satanic statue? Well, unfortunately for the Satanic Temple, the Supreme Court ruled the Ten Commandments statue was unconstitutional, so Oklahoma's state capitol ended up with neither. But the Satanic Temple still built the statue, and in August, they brought it before the Arkansas state capitol.
Good people of Arkansas and supporters of religious liberty, I present to you Baphomet, a symbol of pluralism, legal equality, tolerance, free inquiry, freedom of conscience, and reconciliation.
Yes, it's an 8.5-foot tall statue of the winged half-man, half-goat Baphomet, with children worshiping at its feet. Though the Satanic Temple did say it left off Baphomet's traditional hermaphroditic breasts to make it more publicly palatable. Which personally, I feel it's sad to see Satanists compromising their beliefs like that. But now, this statue is at the center of a $50 million lawsuit the Satanic Temple brought against Netflix and Warner Brothers. Remember the 90s show, Sabrina the Teenage Witch? Melissa Joan Hart, you can explain it all to me any day. Wait, where was I? Oh, right. So Netflix has remade Sabrina, and this time it's darker, because that's lit or whatever. And in this new Netflix version, there's a scene where a very familiar statue of Baphomet appears. Well, the Satanic Temple never gave the show permission to use the image of Baphomet, so they sued, saying the statue not only infringed on its copyright, but damaged its reputation by portraying the statue as evil. I mean, how could they? Portraying Satan as evil? But seriously, that was the premise of their lawsuit. Does Chilling Adventures of Sabrina make Satanists look bad? That's from the same publication that asked whether Lord of the Rings is racist against orcs. The so-called unfair portrayal of Satanism is also a point brought up in a recent Geek's Guide to the Galaxy podcast by screenwriter Raphael Jordan.
The people that actually identify as pagans or Wiccans or Satanists did not appreciate it. They basically thought it cast them in a pretty bad light and perpetuated misconceptions about Satanism.
To be fair though, lots of media perpetuate misconceptions about religion, like my favorite pulp science fiction classic, The Thrilling Adventures of Space Jesus. But no, that is a point the Satanic Temple co-founder Lucien Graves makes. I'm amazed that anybody is confused as to why we would seek legal remedy over Sabrina using our monument. Would they be as understanding of a fictional show that used a real mosque as the HQ of a terrorist cell? Maybe not, but that's conflating the issue. Sabrina didn't shoot scenes at a real Satanic Temple or even mention that organization. They used a statue of Baphomet, which is an ancient symbol of Satanism, on their fictional set. That should be even less offensive than how the Da Vinci Code depicted real Catholic sites and artifacts in a movie that casts the actual Catholic Church in a sinister light. But anyway, the Satanic Temple sued. America truly is a land of opportunity. So, did the TV show Sabrina actually misrepresent Satanism? Well, many Satanists say Satanism is about free will. That's also what the high priest of the Satanic Church in Sabrina says.
But the devil,
The Dark Lord, yes.
he is the embodiment of evil.
Incorrect. He's the embodiment of free will.
Yes, free will. I mean, what would Satan do? Except it turns out later, not so much. Ultimately, Netflix and Warner Brothers settled the lawsuit with the Satanic Temple for an undisclosed sum of money and the promise to acknowledge the Satanic Temple in the credits of the show. Because at the end of the day, the real monster in Sabrina isn't the devil, it's the patriarchy.
I want freedom and power. He'll never give you that. The Dark Lord. The thought of you, of any of us having both, terrifies him. Why is that? He's a man, isn't he?
You know, I don't remember that point from my 7 years in Catholic school. Anyway, after the victory, Lucian Graves wrote, "So ends one of the most over-publicized of copyright claims. Press can now stop pretending this was unique and momentous, or even interesting." Wait, so you're saying you didn't sue Warner Brothers and Netflix to get publicity? So you did for the money? Wait, I got it. You sued them because it's morally right. I mean, what would Satan do? So, what do you think of the lawsuit and the new Sabrina? Personally, I'm upset that Salem, the black cat, doesn't talk anymore.
I want my old Sabrina back. The one who used to make me feel all safe and loved.
Leave your comments below. And remember, you can support America Uncovered by contributing $1 or more per episode on the crowdfunding website Patreon. Once again, I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.
Netflix's The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina has invoked an unholy terror and a $150 million lawsuit from the Satanic Temple.
I don't even really want to talk about this,
But
but we're going
gonna
to talk about it anyway.
We're going to.
To break down the devil in the details, we are joined by FIU law professor and author of Copyright Class Struggle, Creative Economics and Social Media in the Social Media Age, Hannibal Travis. Hannibal, walk us through this. Why is Netflix being sued?
Well, it seems like there's a brief scene in one of the episodes in which the characters go to a large room where there's a statue of a goat-headed man with small children looking up at him, and there's some evil scheme or something going on in this room, and the statue is very similar to the Satanic Temple's statue that they try to get installed at courthouses as a First Amendment message, that they changed the historic picture of the devil, or Baphomet, as a goat-headed man into this more modern version with children looking up at him. So they're alleging that Netflix made an unlawful copy of their sculpture in the show and also used it on social media and in various ways to create confusion between the show and the Satanic Temple.
So this, Hannibal, would be a case of infringement then on their likeness and property?
Copyrighting the statue and trademark in the statue as something that the temple uses to distinguish its services from those of other religions and temples.
Wow. Well, thanks for breaking that down, Hannibal. Do they have a claim for damages?
Yeah, will this hold up in court?
They might have a copyright claim. They'll have more difficulties with their trademark claim under the First Amendment. The issue they'll have with the copyright claim is, what is the fair market value really of using this statue in a TV show? Is there any history of licensing a statue like this or this particular statue? There was a similar case, not similar, but there was a case against Mayweather, the boxer, involving the use of a beat or part of a song. And the court ultimately said that there was no money that could be recovered because they couldn't prove the value of the song in that context. That same kind of an issue may come up here.
Got it. Okay, well.
That is why you don't mess with the devil, okay, you all?
Lisa's been saying that all day, but true story. All right, Hannibal, thank you so much for chatting with us about it and breaking it down. It's super confusing, but hey, that's life, right?
So far.
All right, have a good day, man.
The Satanic Temple is suing Netflix and Warner Brothers for allegedly giving it a bad name. The temple filed a lawsuit Thursday with the U.S. District Court in Manhattan over Netflix's new show, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. The non-theistic group says the show infringed on its copyright of its statue, Baphomet with Children. They're also suing over trademark violation and injury to the business's reputation, and are requesting an injunction to stop the distribution of the series with the image of the statue. The temple claims a Baphomet statue featured on the show was copied directly from a bronze statue the temple designed roughly 5 years ago. You might remember it as the statue brought to the Arkansas State Capitol in August in protest of a 10 Commandments monument that was installed earlier this year. But the lawsuit is just as much about copyright as it is about reputation. The temple argues the show portrays it in a negative and false light. It says Netflix and Warner Brothers misappropriated the statue by associating it with evil and activities counter to what the temple believes. The group is seeking at least $50 million in damages for each charge. As of Friday afternoon, Netflix and Warner Brothers have yet to comment.
The Tucson-based Satanic Temple of Arizona says they're suing the city of Scottsdale for violating their First Amendment rights.
News 4 Tucson's Nick Van Zandt found out prayer and public meetings are at the center of this lawsuit. It's new at 10.
It says that all good things come from your hand, Lord.
The city of Scottsdale starts nearly every city council meeting with a prayer invocation.
We pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
But when members of the Satanic Temple of Arizona asked to lead that invocation, they were told no.
It's a fundamental bedrock constitutional right to have free exercise of religion any way we see fit, and to not be able to establish a religion by endorsing one over the other.
Stu DeHaan is the attorney behind the claim. He says that back in 2016, the temple asked and was given permission to lead a prayer at an upcoming city council meeting. Then, according to the claim, city council members got involved and the temple was denied permission to speak, with some Scottsdale council members saying the temple's request was, quote, taking equality too far, and that the council should be guided by God alone.
We're not going away. We are members of the community, and we will ask to be part of these public forums.
In response, Scottsdale city officials say the temple was turned away not because of religion, but because they didn't have ties to the Scottsdale community. DeHaan says community ties weren't part of the application process.
So our belief is that it was made up to discriminate against us.
Now, in the claim, the temple is not asking for monetary damages. They say they want equal opportunity to speak and equal treatment regardless of religion. For News 4 Tucson, I'm Nick Van.
Dumped again, another setback for that Satanist group trying to lead the opening prayer at city council meetings. First, Phoenix dropped them from their schedule. Now Scottsdale's doing the same. And new at 10, the group tells us they were completely blindsided by this latest decision, and a lawsuit is not off the table.
What they seem to have done is come up with an arbitrary standard that was not present before, because we had been scheduled, like any other group would have been scheduled, and then as the months go by, they decided to come up with something to discriminate against us.
Scottsdale officials tell ABC 15, quote, the city is not going to deviate from its long-standing practice of having the invocation given only by representatives from institutions that have a substantial connection to the Scottsdale community.
Just into the ABC 15 live desk, Scottsdale saying okay to Satanists. A city spokesperson says a group called the Satanic Temple asked yesterday to give an invocation at a council meeting. Mayor said, okay, this is going to happen now on April 5th. We're working to see if this is the same group that's been trying to lead an opening prayer at the Phoenix City Council for some time now.